swing high. It's a dig. It is out of here. 7:56. Bond stands alone.
17 seconds from game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead.
Washington outside left. Roethlisberger has time. Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Holmes.
A minute remaining. And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Ervin. Ervin and Curry, one-on-one. Ervin puts it up.
It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday evening. Welcome to the Taproom Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan. Stacks on stacks, lads. Joined with my man, Swervin Ervin Washington. How you doing tonight, Erv?
Chilling. Just finished watching the Lightyear movie. Now we're about to talk some football.
How was that Lightyear movie?
It's pretty good. My first time seeing it.
Interesting. Never seen it myself. We got a good show on deck. We got a lot of football to talk about. We got a Monday night football game to recap, react to, and then we're going to talk about some college football action that happened this past weekend. I do need to mention we are being brought to you by Tavour. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device. Use promo code TAPROOM for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more. As craft beer delivers straight to your front door, you don't even got to leave your seat. And that's some good shit.
Let's go, y'all.
So with that being said, let's hop into this Monday night game. So we had coming off one of the worst primetime games of all time last night. We could only go up from there. Last night, 11-10 game, one of the worst games I've ever seen. Like, literally, I had to fucking wash my eyes.
Second time in NFL history. But hey, if you appreciate good high-level defense, you enjoyed last night's
fuck out of
game.
here, dude. That was more low-level offense than high-level defense.
When the Super Bowl ended 10-3, I didn't hear too many people complaining about that.
That was a boring ass game too.
It's called a defensive battle.
This was not. This was okay. These are two good defenses. I'll give them that. But the offenses were so bad.
I think these are better than. I think these defenses are actually looking pretty top 5-ish, top 3-ish.
I'll reserve that thought on Denver until they actually play somebody with a good offense, and then we'll get back to
the Niners don't have a bad offense, and they have one of the best play callers in the league. Do you consider the Raiders a good offense?
Not. They haven't been statistically. Like, on paper, they should be good, but they haven't been good statistically this season. So,
okay, well, if you think their offense is better than the Niners, we play them this Sunday. So,
yeah, and it's on the road, so it's a good test for you guys. Isn't it a Monday night game?
Is it Monday night? I thought it was on Sunday. We'll see. I'll check.
No, I think it's a Monday night game, if I'm not mistaken. UNLV plays on Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Had a legion. But regardless, last night's game sucked. And, we could only go up from there. And in the first half of this game, didn't look like it was going to be too good because both offenses were, like, moving the ball, but they, like, weren't really able to score. It wasn't really the defenses. Although Dallas, they had 6 sacks against Daniel Jones. Really came out with a defensive game.
I know the Rams versus Niners are on Monday. Raiders versus Broncos on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So this game closed Giants -1. It was like fluctuating between -1, -1.5 basically all day. Closed -1 for the Giants at home. The total closed about 38.5, 39, depending on where you got it at. If you got 38.5, my condolences to you because, I mean, dude, there was only 9 points scored in the first half, and it looked like an absolute, just total under game. Like, it didn't even look like there was going to be 30 points scored in, what do we know? 39 points scored. If you got the 39.5, like your boy did, we cash in. So that's why you always got to bet early, man. That's why you always got to bet early. But anyways, let's talk about this game. What was your thoughts about this game? Giants 2-0. We kind of knew they were like the flukiest 2-0 team of all time. But I mean, what do you think about Cooper Rush? Like, he actually looked good these last two games. He's 2-0 now.
Yeah, he's surprising me. I think the more he wins, they might try to cook up a QB controversy in Dallas, but let's be real. Dak is hands down the best QB on that team. Cooper is doing his job, though, which a backup is supposed to do. He's holding the ship down. He's actually making plays. If CD Lamb can actually hold on to the ball, I don't think this game would have been as close as it was.
Yeah.
But
he looked bad
I
in
like
the first half.
Yeah, I like what I've seen. You know, Dallas defense is playing a little bit better than what people expected. The front four looking good. They held up against the run pretty good, except for that one touchdown run by Saquon. So Dallas is looking solid, but I'm just gonna be honest. That division starts ends. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see how things shake out because I got the Eagles ahead by a wide margin. They hands down look like the best team in that division and probably one of the better teams in the NFC, honestly.
Yeah, the Eagles are an interesting team. They also have like the easiest schedule known to man, so that also helps them.
Hey, you gotta beat who you play, baby.
Absolutely. I do think that it is concerning that 2 games in a row, though, they have 0 second half points in 2 games. And all their points were scored in 1 quarter yesterday.
Well, they played. I tried to tell you that Washington wasn't gonna stay on the field with them. Oh, where that whiskey at? Are we waiting till Wednesday for that?
Nah, that's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday for
Okay.
NFL. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, dude, I played the number. I played a home dog. I mean, home dogs are covering 60%. It's not a bad play, but I mean, you know, Washington just couldn't protect Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? Like, Philly was in the backfield at every snap, and you know, Washington's out there trying to do 7-step drops and shit. Like, it was a disaster from the beginning.
You gotta love it.
But I mean, to be honest, like, aside from like 3 pass interference calls and like they had a rookie cornerback, which, you know, Philly was taking advantage of, and Washington also should have, you know, if they had competent defensive backs, they have 2 interceptions. You know, AJ Brown had 2 incredible catches that saved Jalen Hurts from 2 interceptions. One of them, the DB just really had to turn around, and it was fucking right there. You know, he didn't turn around. AJ Brown jumps over his back, fucking catches the ball. Hell of a play. Devontae Smith had a hell of a game.
We could play the if game, but Washington got their ass whooped like I told you it was gonna happen.
I mean, I wouldn't even say they got their ass. They lost 24-8, and honestly, the box score, you look at it, and it was like they should have lost like 50-0. But Philadelphia couldn't move the ball in the second half. You know, if Washington could protect Carson Wentz, they're in that game, but they couldn't, and that was the big difference. And the Eagles have a legit defense. Like, we knew that coming in. I knew they had a top 3 defense. You know, they have to play from ahead. That's their style of play. That's what they got to do, and they have an easy schedule. But, you know, is that going to work in the playoffs? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. But one team I know is not going to be in the playoffs. That's the New York Giants, because they also can't protect Daniel Jones. They do have a good defense, so I will give them that. You know, they were missing Leonard Williams, which was a huge loss. They get Kayvon Thibodeau back. Kayvon Thibodeau looked all right. It was his first game action. But, I mean, do you think either of these teams have a legit shot at winning the division?
Well, I'd say Dallas got a better shot than the Giants. The real reason why the Giants is going to be in it because they have a pretty damn good head coach, and he's a pretty good offensive guy, too, and he makes Daniel Jones look a lot better than what he is. So I don't think the Giants are just going to be complete ass. They're going to be in pretty much every game they play. I don't see nobody just blowing them off the field. So if they can execute and Daniel Jones doesn't turn the ball over, which I don't think he turned the ball over tonight, did he?
Yeah, he had 1 interception at the end of the game.
Well, okay, well, but for the most part, he's not been a turnover machine. So I think if he continue to play solid and not lose them games, they have a good shot at winning a good amount of games. I don't think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. They might not make the playoffs, but I don't see them as a top picking in the top 5 or the top 10.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But if they can't protect Daniel Jones, like they couldn't tonight, he was hurried on 24 of how many dropbacks did he have? I just had the number right here. He was hurried on 24 of his 37 dropbacks, dude.
Yeah, they definitely got to get that line together. I think for the most part, is this I think they're in, the right tackle is that dude is gone.
They have Evan
Neil,
Neal at the right tackle right now.
I thought Neil had left tackle. Oh well, he's at right tackle. He's a rookie. He's going to get better. I think his more natural position is left tackle, honestly. But they'll have to figure that out. I think they invest heavy in the line next year in the offseason, maybe the draft, free agency. But they got to get a quarterback. I think they one of the teams that you need to watch. That's going to, if they are middle of the pack in the first round, what they're building is pretty solid outside of the QB position. So they might be one of the teams that want to trade up and grab one of the guys they like that's high on their board.
Yep. No, I agree with that. Like their defense is already like, they have a top 10 defense, I would say.
Yeah, their defense is nice. It was pretty good last year too, even though they were struggling.
Yep. And if they just had some consistency offensively, and it also goes to say like, their top two projected wide receivers on their depth chart didn't play tonight in Kadarius Toney and Wendell Robinson. So I mean that's a huge L. And then you have all this drama with Kenny Gallade. Like it was reported on Saturday or Sunday that he was gonna get cut, and then he suits up tonight, and I mean he looked like shit. They might as well cut him at this point.
Yeah, that was one of in recent memory. That's one of the worst failed free agent additions I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like he got paid and just stopped fucking trying. I don't know, because he was good in Detroit.
Yeah, he was balling low key in Detroit. I think he just went to the Big Apple and just said fuck it.
Yep.
I don't. Hopefully, a change of scenery helps him out. You seen what changing sceneries did for Odell, so hopefully he can have that type of bounce back. But we'll see.
Yep. No, he's definitely gonna need that type of bounce back. Yeah. No, this is an interesting game. I mean, I think that this game, the fact that Dallas pulled out a W, I do think that it benefits them moving forward to win the division, because Micah Parsons is legit, dude.
Like, yeah, Micah Parsons is a dog, and they leaving him. I like the fact that they leaving him more on the edge now, because that's his natural position, and that's the position he can affect the game most from.
Yep.
So as long as the Cowboys do that, they're gonna be all right. They could draft a middle linebacker. They probably do need another edge rusher, because outside of him, DeMarcus Lawrence can rush the passer.
Well, that other kid they had that was playing today, what's his name? Jones?
I didn't really watch too much of the game, but I can't think of his name.
Getting what? Goddamn, what's his? Hold on, let me get it. Let me pull it up right here. Sacks Wilson, dude, he's nice, bro. He was all over the place.
Did they draft him or he was a free agent?
I don't even know.
A rookie free agent? Because they had to draft him or he was a rookie free agent, because he's a rookie.
He is Cedric Wilson. No, that's not him.
Oh.
Dono Wilson.
Okay.
He was nice, man. He was making some plays. Donovan Wilson, that's his name.
Okay.
He's 27 from Texas A&M. He's a free safety. Damn, he was like playing at the line most of the game. He was flying around, dude. He looked good, man. He was popping off on the screen, in my opinion. And, the fact that, Micah Parsons gets a ton of attention, so it opens up possibilities for everybody else to really get pressure on the quarterback. And, DeMarcus Lawrence had a solid game too. He got hurt. I don't know what his status is going to be moving forward, but that's something to keep an eye on too, because I mean, they were just wreaking havoc in that backfield, dude. Like, the Giants, Daniel Jones couldn't even, like, set his feet, dude. They were just back there in an instant. And if you get pressure like that, nobody's going to succeed.
Yeah, Dan Quinn is a legit defensive coordinator. I think, wasn't he the Seahawks D coordinator for those Legion of Boom years? So we know what he can do on the defensive side of the ball. So, like I said, I've been pretty much impressed with Cooper Rush. He's making plays. He's not losing Cowboys. He's actually making winning plays. He's not just out there being a game manager. So I like what I see from him. If they can keep it up, they can definitely give the Eagles a run for their money. But if he could keep holding down the fort till Dak get back, that's better for the Cowboys. They just playing with house money. So he don't have a whole bunch of pressure on him. He just got to do what he got to do.
They really are, man. And if that defense can definitely, that defense is legit, dude.
Yeah, because they got Washington next week, so I definitely see them winning that game, and they at home. Then they back to back with the Rams and Philly, so that could be a big test for them. Both of those games.
Yep.
But like you said, if that defense keep playing like it's playing, they're gonna be able to compete and play with anybody.
Yep, and they just and as long as Dak's out, Cooper Rush just has to make like a couple throws, few throws a game to really keep them in it, because they really struggled running the ball, and that could be an issue. And they also got to be better stopping the run on defense, especially when they play Philly. But bro, I'm telling you, dude, this is 2 games in a row where Philly can't move the ball in the second half. Defensive coordinators are starting to adjust to the RPO, dude.
Well, they've been doing that. You see, Lamar had to get, a lot of his passes and, his chunk plays was coming off RPO. Now he's, killing teams from the pocket. So you can run it, it's going to be successful. But if you make your whole game plan off of that, it probably could work for, like you said, a half, 3/4. But you might need to adjust because, the defensive end is going to adjust. He's going to, instead of crashing down,
Yep.
he's going to stay at home and try to read the QB. So, it can be figured out because we've seen it get figured out more and more over the years since, Oregon and Urban Meyer and, the Tim Tebow days at Florida. So it's not something completely new on anymore. So they got a whole bunch of tape on it. So, of course, if you give NFL coaches, especially D coordinators, enough tape on something, they're going to figure out how to stop it completely or slow it down. So,
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed this year, I mean, dude, unders are hitting over 65% right now. And, defenses, I feel like definitely have an advantage right now because I do think that defenses have gotten so much faster personnel wise that, a big part of football now offensively is like getting athletes in space. But now you have these athletes on defense that just like fly around the ball. It's like even if they get in space, they're crashing down on them hella quickly. So we're seeing a lot of adjustments.
I think a lot of that has to do with the unders because I don't know, man. For some reason, these quarterbacks been under siege a lot in the NFL this year. For some reason, there's been a lot. It might not be a lot of sacks, but you're seeing a whole lot of pressures outside of a couple games. Like the Raiders, they had like 2, 3 pressures, no sacks, but I think that's more of a just the Titans game plan. So they wasn't really giving the Raiders time to rush the passer. A lot of it was quick and running the ball and stuff like that. I barely saw play action. So, it's just, I think it's gonna even out as the year goes on.
Oh,
But
for
like
sure.
if unders is hitting that much, keep betting those under because everybody thought the under was gonna hit. I mean, the over was gonna hit with the Bills and the Dolphins.
And that shit
That
went way
it didn't
under.
get nowhere close to over 53. So
Yep. Nah, 100% agree. But also the books are going to adjust too, and you're going to see totals go down a lot lower like we did last Thursday. I mean, it closed like 37.5, dude.
yeah,
So we're seeing a lot of
that's super low.
Yep. All right, let's talk about some college football. So we talked about a handful of games last week. So let's just kind of recap some of those games we talked about. The first one we talked about was West Virginia. They were heading into Blacksburg to face Virginia Tech. This was a Thursday night game. West Virginia closes a -2.5 point favorite. They end up winning the game 33-10. I mean, this game was it was over pretty quickly. The over under was 49.5. So if you had the under, that cashes. But we were both on Virginia Tech. This one was just flat out ugly, and like it looked like Virginia Tech just like kind of lost any chance of hope pretty quickly.
Yeah,
in this game.
it's honestly it's gonna take a little while for Pride to build what he needs to build. But that home field advantage, the greatest thing about that is the entrance now, man. I don't even think you call that a home field advantage anymore because they got dominated up front by West Virginia and they D line ain't nothing special.
Well, I mean, they also
Except for that D tackle. That D tackle is nice, but I did not expect that game to get that bad that fast. So I don't know. It's almost time to pack Virginia Tech up.
I mean, it was relatively close in the first half. I mean, it was 13-7 at the end of the half, and it was 7-3. Virginia Tech was leading until the very end of the second or first half, and Virginia Tech had 4 penalties that gave West Virginia first downs, and like at that point, it was just over, dude. Like you can't overcome those kind of mistakes when you're already at a disadvantage talent wise.
Offensively. And I'll give them this. They have a pretty good defense, but their offense is terrible. So
Awful.
they're not going to beat unless they just play out of their minds on defense and force all type of turnovers that give an offense a short field and they can cash those in. They're not beating any of the upper echelon ACC teams.
Nope.
at all. They probably could beat Miami because we seen what Miami is becoming. I don't know what Cristobal doing, but he got to get that together.
Yep, that's true. All right, let's talk about this next game. We had Clemson at Wake Forest. This was one of the most exciting games of Saturday, to be honest. This one, Clemson closed about -8, depending on where you got it, laying 8. So Wake Forest covers as the dog, and then the total was 58, which obviously went way over. There was 96 points scored in this game, so a lot of points scored as we went into overtime. If you told me this game was gonna finish this high, I probably would have told you that Wake Forest was gonna win this game. I was actually impressed that Clemson, their offense looked good. DJ looked good in this game, but their defense, this is a front seven that we've been talking about as one of the best in the country. And Wake Forest was doing whatever they wanted. I mean, what's your thoughts on this game here, Irv?
We might have overrated. Well, Clemson's front seven is still good. It's just that secondary, man, they terrible.
Yep.
They if Wake Forest has good receivers, but their wide receiver core isn't better than what we like at NC State or North Carolina. So if Clemson look like that against Wake Forest, then they better tighten up them chin straps for their upcoming schedule because they're only gonna face
NC
better
State
teams
this
from here on
weekend.
out, especially teams like North Carolina State. North Carolina proving that their offense is elite. That defense has got to be able to stop somebody. Florida State surprising us so far, so it looks like them and Clemson's gonna be a good game. I do expect Clemson to pull that out, but I don't know, man. I think they're gonna lose a couple games before it's all said and done if that secondary keep playing like it did.
Yeah, they definitely gotta shore up that defense because you can't. I mean, if they can rely on their offense to do what they did this weekend, I think that bodes well for Clemson going forward. But I mean, this offense, aside from this game, has not been able to do this all season. So it's going to be interesting going forward. We're going to be talking about Clemson and North Carolina State on Wednesday. So make sure to tune in 9:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's one of the games we're going to be previewing because that's a huge test for both of those teams, and it's a huge test for us too because you have NC State winning the ACC. I had Clemson winning the ACC, so it's a huge game in terms of the ACC here. But as far as Wake Forest, Sam Hartman looked great, dude. 20 of 29, threw for over 350 yards, 6 touchdowns. I think Wake Forest is legit. They just have to play better defense at some point. You know what I mean? And that's always been kind of their Achilles heel. So that'll be interesting going forward. But I think Wake Forest they have a great offense, man. That's a scary team. All right, let's talk about this next game. This was another team's first real test, and this was Maryland. They were heading into the Big House to face Michigan. Michigan closed 17-point favorites. Maryland covers. The final score 34-27. The total was 65. That also hits the under. This was a funny game, man, because opening kickoff, Maryland muffs the kickoff. Michigan has the ball inside their 7-yard line, score a touchdown quickly.
And that low-key cost them the game.
Basically, it was the game. I mean, they were able to overcome it, and at one point in the second half, I thought Maryland was going to win the game.
Yeah, if it wasn't for one of those interceptions, should have been called back. That wasn't an interception.
That's what changed the game.
If it wasn't for those 2 interceptions, we'll be having a totally different conversation right now because Maryland honestly would have won that game because both of those interceptions happened while they was driving the ball and they was both in plus territory. And Michigan went back. They got a touchdown off one, and then they got a field goal off one. That 10-point swing that changed the game, plus that turnover, and they still lost by 7. But we can come away positively saying that Maryland is a different team, and everybody in the Big Ten, especially Penn State and Ohio State, they better be ready to bring the A game because Maryland can play and compete with anybody. Even the backup quarterback, he led them down the field and scored a quick 7 that got them right back in the game. They just couldn't recover the onside kick.
Yep.
But Maryland is not a team to be overlooked. Their wide receivers could play with anybody. The defense looks much improved. They do got to get better against the run.
They got to stop the run.
That kind of was the difference in the game too. Was Michigan was able to run the ball in the Big House, but honestly, Michigan, my stock on them, I might say a little neutral, but I don't know, man. They looking like frauds, bro. Because if Maryland could test them like that at home, I don't think they got no shot at beating Ohio State.
Well, I mean, this was a Michigan team that was scoring over 55 points a game, holding opponents to they hadn't allowed a point in the first half all year, but we mentioned it time and time again. This was a team that played three of the worst FBS teams in the country. So we didn't really know who they were, and they still haven't played on the road. They played 4 games all at home,
At
dude.
home, just like Ohio State. Ohio State haven't played on the road at all.
So we really, I don't think we're gonna know much about Michigan until they get out on the road. And who do they have coming up?
I think they got Iowa coming up, but is that on the road? I think they. Let me check and see because I know that this week they play Iowa.
I mean, Iowa's offense is so bad, dog.
Yeah, so I think that's the only reason why they would beat that team. The defense is good, but I don't think they score enough to beat Michigan.
The one thing I will say though, they could probably hold Michigan to under 24 points.
Maybe. They're at Iowa, so this is a first road game.
Damn, what's the line on? Oh, we're gonna talk
I think
about
it's
that
10
game
and a
on
half.
Wednesday. Man, that might be an Iowa play there, dude.
Yeah, it's Michigan 10. Michigan favored by 10 and a half.
We're gonna talk about that game more, but man, that's gonna be a fucking dog shit game. Anytime Iowa plays, bro. I mean, they're just a funny team, dude. They cannot score offensively. Like,
Yeah, they got it. I've seen them play against. I've watched like the first half against Rutgers, bro. If they don't get turnovers, they the entire season they have one drive over 60 yards, and it resulted in a touchdown. So
oh
that's
my
how
God,
bad that offense is.
it is terrible. So I think we're both kind of on the same page with Michigan. Like, I think they're a good team, dude. I'm not gonna say that they're not a good team, but they got tested against Maryland. It took some wild things to happen for them to win that game. Maryland, obviously, they still got to be able to stop the run, but I'm looking forward to seeing Michigan play some better competition. But honestly, the Big Ten might be kind of down this year too.
Yeah, it is. I don't think Michigan gonna get really tested until they play Penn State and Ohio State. Penn State has surprised me. They went on the road. They beat the hell out of Auburn.
That Auburn
They
team
lit.
stinks, so dude.
I know, but they did look. But it's still a big. It's on the road, and that's a hostile environment. So you got to give them credit for going in there and winning by multiple touchdowns. That's a tough place to play. But outside of those three, the Big Ten ain't looking too good.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Our list,
Minnesota looking good too, though. I
they
can't
are.
lie.
They're in our top 25 this week. Their defense looks very solid.
Yeah,
PJ Fleck, man,
he
he's a
having a
real
bounce
deal.
back here.
All right, let's talk about this next game. We had Florida at Tennessee. This one closed minus 10.5 pretty much everywhere for Tennessee. Florida covers the final score 38-33. This had backdoor cover written all over it.
And that's what they did. But Florida, Tennessee it shouldn't have been this close, but I got to give Florida some credit. They scored. They held Tennessee. They stopped them on some drives. They kind of held the reins in on Hendon Hooker a little bit, but he made the plays he needed to make. But this showed me more about Tennessee than it did Florida. They faced some adversity. They got through it. I think Alabama and Georgia better be ready to bring the popcorn because Hendon Hooker is a real deal.
Yeah, and I mean, also on the flip side, like I know we always talk about Anthony Richardson and his limitations throwing the ball, but I mean the guy had over 510 yards of total offense by himself, which is pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah, he looked good on Saturday. Honestly, I think if Florida had better weapons on the outside, because he's not terrible throwing the football. He has the mechanics, he has the arm. He just need a little bit of help from his wideouts.
I don't know, dude. He misses a lot of throws, a lot of easy
Yeah,
throws.
but I think that's more of a he needs to work on his mechanics. I don't think he's just a terrible thrower of the football because a lot of people thought Josh Allen couldn't hit a barn with a beach ball, but it got better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's facts. But Josh Allen also had a lot worse talent around him than Anthony Richardson has at Florida.
Yeah, but that talent it ain't great. It's cool.
I mean, Ricky Pearsall will probably be in the league.
Man, All right, I'm I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Dude, he's nice.
All right, Jordan, you got this one.
Damn. All right, let's talk about this next game. We had Oregon at Washington State. This was a wild game, dude.
Yeah,
Absolutely wild
Washington,
game.
Washington State has a famous saying, "A coog in it," and they definitely cooged this game. I'll give Oregon some credit. They went on the road. They didn't look good at times. They did pull it out. Bo Nix made the plays. He made some plays he needed to make to get him the victory. So I'll give him a solid road win. But Washington, it was no way you should have lost that game. For
Yep.
Washington State, it was no way you should have lost that game. Cameron Ward did look good at times, but if you keep him in a pocket, sometimes I'm a little concerned because he misses a lot of throws. He missed a lot of throws that game.
Yeah, also had two key interceptions
Yeah.
that cost them. Yeah, this was a crazy game. Oregon closed -6.5, so obviously they don't cover. Washington State covered. The total was 57, went way over.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a game that pretty much the entire game, Washington State was winning until the third quarter. Oregon outscores Washington State 29-14. Just an awful end of the game for Washington State, dude.
Yeah. Both defenses looked horrible in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get rougher for both teams because they do have a pretty tough schedule coming up for both teams. So we're going to see what both teams are made of.
Yep. We definitely will. I think Oregon has Stanford this weekend. I forget who Washington State's playing.
I think they play. I know next week they play USC. Because USC got Arizona State this weekend.
Good old Sun Devils.
Washington State plays. Well, Oregon is at Arizona. They should win that game.
This weekend, Oregon is playing Stanford.
Oh no, that's okay. That's next week then. Let me see who Washington State got. Washington State plays. Oh, it looks like they're on a bye week.
That's good.
Yeah, you definitely need to take a week off and think about that loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on a bye week.
Clear their head. All right, let's move into the next game. We had Arkansas. This one was being played in Dallas against Texas A&M. I mean, dude, what a shit show of a game this was, dude.
Yeah, Arkansas let me down, man. They came out 14-0. I'm thinking they finna blow the doors off of A&M.
Dude.
And then A&M comes back, and after that, it was just a back and forth, sloppy type of game. KJ Jefferson didn't make enough plays.
Well, I mean, the kicker missed, like,
Yeah,
I've never seen a kick bounce off the top of the upright, dude. That was crazy.
That was crazy, but it shouldn't have been that close, man. Arkansas, hopefully they could bounce back and put up a good fight against Bama because, losses like that can have an effect on you, especially when you should have won the game.
Yeah,
so hopefully they could bounce back and put up a competitive effort against Bama. But this just showed me that Arkansas has to be better in the clutch because you can't get out to a 14-0 lead like that and then just let a team come right back because that's too big of a momentum swing.
Well, then they were in the red zone too, and they turn it over, and Texas A&M takes it back to the house, dude. That was really what changed the entire game. Could have been 21-0 right there.
Yeah, so that big swing got them right back in the game. Hopefully Arkansas could bounce back, but man, losses like that could really bring down the morale. So hopefully they could bounce back and Pittman can have them ready for Bama, but they definitely should have won that game. That game just showed me that Texas A&M is still in shambles at the QB position.
Yep.
At this point, they might as well throw the freshman out there and see what he could do, man.
I don't think Jimbo will do that, but
he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, this is I agree with you. I think this was a terrible loss for Arkansas because it felt like a game that they should have absolutely won and they lose. And then for Texas A&M, it's like they kind of escape with a W. And hats off to them for getting a W. But Like, I still think Texas A&M has the same issues as we knew they had all along, and that's quarterback play. And, you know, if you don't have a good quarterback and you can't move the ball, things are going to be very difficult for you. And
Yeah.
we've seen that with them. All right, let's move into this next game. We had Wisconsin at Ohio State. This game closed -19. Ohio State laying the 19. They obviously cover. The final score 52-21. The total was 56.5. That goes over. I mean, Irv, this is Wisconsin has not looked good this season at all.
At all.
What's your thoughts on these two teams? I mean, do we even know what Ohio State is yet?
No, we don't, because they haven't been tested. They got tested by Notre Dame, but that was only for 3 quarters. They pretty much solidified the game in the fourth because Notre Dame couldn't move the ball no more. So we not gonna know what they are till, like you said, they go on the road, they play a quality opponent, and they beat them. They have a good quarterback. They have a damn good offense. I think they lead the country in touchdowns. So, I
Yeah,
just
all
want to
'cause
see
of that
them play.
Toledo game.
Oh wait, Washington State do play this week. They at home against Cal. But I just want to see them play a good team, a quality opponent. But I don't think they're gonna get tested till they play a Penn State or a Michigan. Because like you said, the the Big Ten don't look good at all. Wait, do they play Minnesota?
Not sure, dude. Let
I would
me
have
see
to look at
here.
their schedule because they haven't been tested. So once they get tested and go on the road, I'll have a better idea of what they
They
are.
do
But
not play
as of
Minnesota.
see, so they might not get tested till they play Penn State or Michigan, honestly, because they're at home, they're blowing teams out. The only game that was actually a game after halftime was Notre Dame. So what can we really know about them yet?
Yep, 900% agree. All right, let's talk about the second to final game. This one was Kansas State at Oklahoma. We were both on Kansas State here, 13.5. That's what it closed at. They cover. They win outright, 41-34. The total was 52.5. The total goes well over 74 points, 75 points scored here. Adrian Martinez, man, phenomenal game, dude. 21-34 for 234 yards, throwing the ball, 1 touchdown, and he rushed the ball 21 times for 148 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns, dude.
My boy looked like Cam Newton on Saturday. I
He
got to
was
give Adrian
balling, dude.
Martinez some credit, man. He's been through a lot, especially at Nebraska, where a lot of people thought they didn't run the offense through him the way they should have. He's with who's Kansas State coach? His name
Kleiman.
always fails me.
Chris Kleiman.
Chris Kleiman. He's a damn good coach, man. This just tickled my soul a little bit because now we know Oklahoma ain't gonna be shit under Brent Venables. So,
I mean, not this year. We thought that when we talked about the game, we previewed the game. We said, yeah, they beat Nebraska, but Nebraska is in absolute shambles, dude.
Shambles, man. I'm gonna be honest. I've never really bought the Brett Venables hype too, outside of him being a D coordinator.
I agree.
And maybe they can challenge for a Big 12 championship, but bro, once they go to the SEC, it's curtains, man. I don't see this dude being able to compete with Saban and Kirby Smart.
No,
He'd be lucky. He'd be lucky to be beating Josh Heupel at Tennessee the way they played on Saturday. But shout out to Oklahoma. Shout out to their fans. You got a dose of reality. You yelled at Adrian Martinez before the game. It was classic. Oh, Lincoln ain't here no more. We ain't gonna give up. So you might as well. We back, baby.
Yep.
So how did that final score feel?
Yep. Nah, that's
shout out to the Oklahoma Tears. Get used to it.
And the Big 12 is honestly wide open, and Kansas State can absolutely win this conference, dude.
Yeah, I just hope Quinn Ewers could get. Well, I just hope he didn't get hurt, man. Because honestly, Texas. I know they lost to Texas Tech, but I think if they was healthy, I think they would probably be undefeated right now. And we'll be talking about them the same way we talking about USC. But good luck, Texas. I don't really care for you either. I'll never forget 2006. I just don't like the Big 12 no more. And then I hope Baylor loses every game because of Sammy. So, all right, Texas Tech, TCU, one of y'all, do y'all thing.
Oh, my God.
But Kansas State, baby. I'm riding with Kansas State. I'm going to put a bet in for them to win the Big 12.
I like it. All right, let's move into the last game that we previewed, and this was USC at Oregon State. This one closed -5.5. Oregon State covers. USC wins by 17-14. The total was 70. It went way under, dude. If you had an under ticket, you were just chilling, dude. This was this was USC's first real test and their first real show
Road challenge.
Yeah, their first real, like, they had to face adversity, dude. Like, they literally could not hike the ball in the first half, dude. Like, the noise was just getting to them. And I gotta say this, dude, and I don't want to sound like fucking negative Nancy or like a Karen or something, but it should absolutely be illegal for teams to pump sound in through the PA system, because
that's not that right there. I think that was more of a difference in the actual crowd. Because let's be real, 27,000 people cannot be that damn loud
no.
at a stadium where the other side is under construction.
Yep.
And you only have noise coming from one side of the stadium. There's no way in hell a crowd of 20-some thousand should ever be that loud. But they did what they had to do. They tried their best to maximize their home field advantage, which they did. It stifled USC. We had some delayed game penalties. We had to call all 3 timeouts in the first half to avoid more delayed game penalties.
In the first quarter, dude.
Well, yeah, I think, we did run through all the time. Well, I think we did run through all our timeouts in the first quarter, but they had a good game plan. I can't take nothing away from Oregon State. I said they have 2 really good corners, so they shine for pretty much the entirety of the game, besides when USC had their spot plays and when USC had to really make a drive to win the game. That's what they did. Me, honestly, I'm more impressed with our defense because they stepped up and they pretty much won us the game with 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions. I think they had 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, and that last one sealed the game. So, I like it because we faced adversity. We overcame it. A lot of people might think like, oh, damn, we struggled against Oregon State. But a lot of people don't know Oregon State will pretty much give any team a run for their money at home because they are a great road team. And historically, we have trouble with them at home, going on the road to Corvallis.
And you're not always going to play perfect football, dude.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're going to have those games that you just don't look good, and you just got to pull them out.
Yeah, you got to pull it out. So I think the offense is going to rebound nicely against Arizona State. That was one of our favorite unders of the year, and they look like they're in complete shambles. I would honestly say that's a classless program. Herm Edwards
is one big pile of shit.
Herm Edwards too accomplished. He did too much for that program. He didn't deserve to get fired on the field after the game.
Yep.
That's almost worse than what they did. Pretty much, it is worse than what USC did to Lane Kiffin because they fired him on the tarmac. At least it was on the tarmac. And he could go straight home. He didn't get fired at the game.
Yeah.
But I just think USC is they're gonna benefit. They're gonna grow from this in our next big test. We can't look too far ahead. We got 2 opponents coming up that if we overlook them, they can't. Well, ASU not gonna be able to beat us under any circumstances. But we do got to be prepared for Washington because I think Washington State because they can score. Their defense plays solid when they're actually tackling people. So I think they might give us a challenge as well. So heading into Utah. So just strap it up, boys, and keep doing what you got to do.
Yeah, hopefully, this week in practice, they're going to go over more communication. I also think that, I thought we got away from the run a little bit early. Like, it worked right away.
Yeah, we should have kept running the ball.
And we got away from it, and we just kept trying to throw it. And, like, it's those kind of games where, like, if something's working, just keep going with it, dude.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley even said that after the game that as a play caller, he should have been more aggressive with the run because that was really working. He said, I can't go away from what's working for us. He did that a little bit too much, try to get a little too cute, but he said he rewatched the game 5 times. So good luck, Arizona State.
Yeah, hopefully hopefully they get right and like blow the brakes off Arizona State this week. Minus 26-point favorites right now.
Yeah, I think they beat the shit out of Arizona State, honestly.
I hope so.
Like hopefully 55-10. More like hopefully 66-14 like they did Rice.
Hopefully. 7:30 p.m. kickoff. I love those late games. So
yeah, those late games are
hopefully I'm not completely intoxicated by then. Cuz I'm going to be at Circa this Saturday, so
okay.
We'll see what's going on, but Yeah, definitely make sure to join us on Wednesday. Well, join us tomorrow night. We're gonna be talking NFL preview and picks, and then Wednesday we're gonna be going through a handful of college games. We got a lot of good games, including Clemson and NC State, which I'm very much looking forward to. Big ACC matchup there.
Yeah, and we got a bet on this game too.
Which one?
NC State versus Clemson.
No, we have a bet on who wins the conference.
Oh, okay. I thought we was betting on the game too.
Nah, we have a bet on who wins the conference because I like NC State plus 7.5 in this game.
All right.
So I'm not betting against you there. I think Clemson's gonna win, but I like them to cover. I think it's gonna be a 1-possession game, dude. The line's actually already moved to like 6.5, I think.
Oh damn.
Because people like your boy betting early, right when the lines come out, hit him quick. Yeah, let me see what it is right now. It is at Clemson 6.5 right now, pretty much everywhere.
So Ohio State is not going to be tested until they play Penn State on the road October 29th.
That's a tough game though.
I know that's going to be their first road game, and then after
Penn State
second
whiteout.
second road game is Penn State. They first is Michigan State, and they're gonna beat the hell out of them.
Yeah, Michigan State does not look good, Ervin. We said that to begin the year. We didn't like Michigan State this year, and it's kind of playing out that way. Which is another game we're going to talk about is UCLA versus Washington. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
We're going to learn a lot about those two programs, but
Let's go, y'all.
you got any best bets?
Best bet for tomorrow: Dodgers and Padres under 7.5.
Under 7.5. I like Orioles money line plus 115. Even money here. Kyle Bradish 2.67 ERA in the second half of the season. And the Red Sox are playing for absolutely nothing. These dudes are ready to go on vacation. Give me the Orioles money line, baby. Yeah, the Red Sox are a big pile of shit right now, dude. Man, that's a team that's just in total fucking shambles. But thank y'all for joining us. Make sure to tap in with us tomorrow night, 9:15 Pacific Standard Time. We will be breaking down NFL games, previewing them, handicapping them, picking them against the spread, getting some best bets early. And then we'll come out with our best bets later on this weekend. And then Wednesday, Ervin and I will be back. We'll be talking a lot of college football, previewing, handicapping, picking games against the spread. Cannot wait. And tomorrow night I will be drinking some whiskey because I lost a fucking bet. God damn it. I usually don't lose bets, dude, when I bet people I know. So this one hurts my soul, dude. But I'm a man of my word, dude. I'm a man of my word.
I tried to save you, bro. I tried.
I'm gonna suck it up, man. Hey, my stubbornness gets to me sometimes.
At least you ain't got to drink Hennessy.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, dude. I would make that bet 365 times out of 365 times. I would have never laid 7 on the road. I don't care. In a division matchup, I would never do it. Ever. But you won. Congratulations. Eagles fly. Pure Leaf. We will see y'all tomorrow. Have a very blessed Tuesday. Let's get this money. Let's go.